You join me for another episode of the Bold Carper. This time we are at Albans Lakes around the M25 and we are going to be targeting Farm Lake. Now the conditions have dictated about how we're going to approach this today. It is gale-force winds and the far end of the lake, which is where we're set up, is blowing straight into us. So it's an easterly, so hopefully I'll be able to conquer this wind, catch a few fish and give you a few tips along the way.
Very strong winds around St Albans. Would Ian Russell be able to catch a few carp? Let's watch this episode of the Bold Carper and find out.
Good morning, and you join me at somewhere I have been a few times before in the past, Albans Lakes, near St Albans, London Colney, junction 22 on the M25, so not too far from home for me this trip. But we are sitting in a gale-force easterly wind. Now it's quite a packed lake, so you're gonna have to go where you're gonna go, and we've ended up in a swim called the Pig Pen, just on the side. We've got 3 lakes on site: Match Lake, Willow and Farm. I prefer Farm. I've had fish out of here before up to £36, which was a nice big common. Yeah, the lad opposite's just that one actually, funny enough, the other side of the island. But let's bring you up to speed. I've just got back from Croatia. I had a 11-day trip out there, which was 2 days travelling there, 7 days fishing and 1 day travelling back, 1.5 days. Some nice fish out there, all on my little size 4 lock Ronnies again, boring, but which is what we put into play here. I know the swim, having fished it once or twice before. A 20 wrap straight down the middle of this peg. You've got 2 trees on the skyline. I've got 2 rods on that. It's a slightly shallower, gravelly, lumpy bit. I've got a pink and then a yellow ice cream pop-ups on them. Now, they're quite buoyant, our pop-ups, and the little tungsten beads I'm using aren't that heavy, so I've had to do, whoa, see what I mean about the wind? I've had to go old school on that, and I've got lead fuse wire. Just push a tiny bit into the bottom of the pop-up and they balance down. When I balanced it without hitting the edge, it was boinging around all over the place, very hard to use. But anyway, so we've got 2 out there and I've put probably 2 key, spommed out, about 2 key of 10mm paella on the right-hand rod, and this is an area I've had a few fish from before. Again, ironically enough, it's 20 wraps towards a certain couple of little bushes over there, but with that one, I put the marker float over there, you've got 10 foot of water, and you're about 2 rod lengths off the bank really. And I walked round there, leapt over the fence like a gazelle, very fit you see, and put about 1 kilo of 10mm again with a scoop all along that margin. So they're coming along, and we've seen 2 fish there since doing it. Seen no fish in the open water as of yet, but the wind is making it hard to even sit here looking out. It makes your eyes water. There's an island to my left. Now I want to use the island, but there's no way I'm casting near that island with this wind. Honest to God, you would be up in the trees, your line goes everywhere. But ironically, the only fish I've seen that side of the swim, right out of the water, almost touched the leaves on the trees, was about 2 minutes ago. So when this is due to drop down this evening, when it drops, I will be getting a rod, taking one of these off this gravel lump, unless we get bites of course before then, and moving off the island. It's an obvious place to try. So there we are, that's up to date really. I like coming here. You can generally get a few fish. What we're taking a chance with, the paella though, there's a lot of cats in here, and I've had them out of here up to £60, so avoiding them is going to be almost impossible. I don't know if they've been coming out yet because the water's still a little bit cold, but they may. I mean, I've caught cats in the winter, but not from here. But we'll see. I'll keep you up to date. If we get a bite between now and this evening when this wind drops, see you then, or see you between then, if we get a bite. There you go, rods have been in probably about 2 hours now, to be fair, on the gravel lump, and the left hand one's just took off, the one with the yellow hook bait on. So hit the rod, dropped to the floor, not seen it yet. It's in the edges, so somewhere. So yeah, nice. Couple of hours fishing and we've got a bite. The lad to our left has had 2 now. There we go, really pretty scaly little mirror. Try and get him in this wind. I think you just got to hold the net and he'll fly into the net anyway. We do not want to give up. Come on, you are only a little baby, let's have you up. There we go. There we are. First one of the day. Well, we've definitely hit bite time. Second take, as you can see, in a couple of minutes. This one's off the right margin, over about 1 kilo of 10 millers. Yep, bite time has arrived. You're a stonking little fish. Yellow pop up, left side of the gravel mound, on loads and loads and loads of 10mm paella. There goes the first one. What an amazing looking, again, little carp. Look at that. Beautiful. Again, these are probably below average for the farm. Ooh, for the farm size I've caught before when I've been here, but all very welcome. They're definitely munching their way through that bait. I've put a fair bit of bait on both areas, which now means if we get one more bite off each area, I'll have to go around and bait up again. So we'll leave it for the time being, but this was a little pink one and a lovely little linear, little chubby thing. Mid doubles maybe, the other one was a little bit less. What a cracking pair of fish to kick us off at Albans Farm Lake. Let's get him back. And rod number 3. There we go. I definitely like a little bit of the old paella in here. Very likely a carp. Hope it's a carp. Not here for the cats. But with using the paella, you cat anglers, take note of this. Using the paella, you are going to catch cats. They are so fishy and so smelly and so lovely for us anglers that the cats also like them. Another little scaly one. That's all 3 rods out of action now. Oh, there he is. Oh. Well, that's why it's a scaly one. You know why? Because it's a little common. They don't come much scalier than little commons, I've got to tell you. There we are. And number 3 is home and dry. Here we are. Right. And all the buzzers turned off. And we've got a nice little common as well. Anyway, there you go. Third one, nice little common. I'm going to slot him back now. I've got 3 rods to deal with, 3 new rigs to tie and get them back in play. Thank you, Farm Lake. You know what, 2 days ago, I was sitting in the garden in just shorts and flip-flops. Today, this wind, look, I've even got thermals on now. This wind, and we've had it for months, and I'm not a weatherman, but it would rip the skin off a rice pudding, which is what my mum and dad used to say. Bizarrely, I had 3 takes off of 2 areas within like 15 minutes, and they're like 60 or 70 yards apart. So we had 3 fish. It's died a death since then, but casting into that wind, it's ridiculous. And I was hitting the clip most of the time. I'll say most of the time, probably 85% of the time, because if you've only got to get that cast a billionth of a second wrong and the wind takes it away, you've got to hit it hard and straight. And also, it's a nice little tip, when the wind is at that strength, if you just stand there, if I had hair, it would be blowing it out here straight, which is what I haven't got. There's always a little tiny drop in it, a tiny little lull in it. So if you're waiting, even if it's a minute, if you're waiting, you're better off waiting than put spoms all over the place. Wait for that minute. There is always a little tiny drop between gusts, then get your spom in action. So just a little tip there. And like I say, I'm not a weatherman, but we're going into the evening now. We're going to probably say good night soon, unless something else happens. But they're showing everywhere out here now. Now this is going to be sound a bit negative. They're slapping the tails on the surface. A lot of them look very small, so I deliberately haven't changed to zigs. Now, ordinarily, these would look like zig fish to me, but a lot of these are small carp. They're coming up like we had earlier, slapping the tails. Now, I know there's a lot of 20s in here, and there's a few 30s, so I'd rather leave the rigs on the lake bed than keep catching 12 to 15 pound fish, of which we've already had 3 anyway, and spooking them off. So we're going into the dark hours, Thankfully, we haven't had a cat yet, but dark hours usually brings one or two of them along. We'll wait and see till the morning. But I've deliberately not gone on zigs. If we haven't had anything throughout the night, then I may well have to go on zigs to nick a couple of fish in the morning. But time will tell on that one. So, till then, good night. It's been a great day, but extremely, extremely cold. Thank you. Managed to get him off the other line now. He was a tough little bugger. Trying to sort something out here. Good God. Right, so the ones we had yesterday were only little ones. The one we had in the night was only little one. But the amount of fight in these fish is ridiculous. Look at him. He's probably half the size of what I was expecting to break the surface. But all said and done, we have got another carp. Number 5. Well, good morning. Just after redoing all 3 rods for various reasons, which I'll go into later, this little fella turns up. He's probably the chunkiest we've had yet. It's probably 17s. The average size is a little bit lower than what I was expecting, but there you go. We've had a few now. Had a good night's kip as well. And there's the early morning wake up call. Good morning again. Now let's run through yesterday evening. Left hand rod lit up. Well, flat. I'm sure it was a catfish. I am fishing over the back of a. It's only about 2 foot difference actually, but a gravel mound where I'm getting these bites from. It's just down the bottom of it on the soft stuff. I'm sure it was a cat, but it took off like a train, flat rodded me, and then when the main line, it obviously ran across a bit of sharp gravel, severed. So that was gone. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. There are a good few cats in here, and for those of you that have ever caught a cat will know that first run off a catfish, you might as well hook it on the back of a van and let the driver accelerate down the road because you're not stopping it. But that's what happened yesterday evening. In the night, I don't know, it's about 2:30 in the night, I think, had a small low double, totally fully scaled. Same rod that I'd redone in the evening off that gravel mound again. But just on first light, all 3 of the bobbins were bouncing up and down. So I mean, it wasn't far out, obviously, because all the lines, the right one's over there and these 2 are here. Whatever it was I'm about to tell you about, I'd wrapped them all up. It was a bream of about 3 or 4 pound with a rig in it, with a lead still on it, with bright red mono, a great big bird's nest all round this fish, seriously, and it's towing a branch. Hence, it's picked up all 3 lines. It's obviously done a bit of that. He couldn't swim very well. But I got that out, dealt with the bream. It was such a mess. We didn't film it. It would have been horrible, but the bream did swim off. You bream anglers will be happy about this. The breams did swim off, good and healthy, all joking aside, and we've managed to do a good deed for the day. But whoever used that stuff should be ashamed of himself, because the rig, the inline lead was almost glued on, and there was so much line, it was ridiculous. But there you go, bright red mono. Keep your eye out for that one, whoever comes down here. So redone the rods then, 2 back on the gravel mound, redone the one to the far side, which hadn't got off in the night, and I thought it would. So now we've had 5 carp to the bank and 1 unstoppable creature that cut the line. So we've had 6 takes. With that in mind, we've still got a look at the day. It's glorious. The wind hasn't picked up yet like it was yesterday. It was horrendous. Been through that yesterday though, so we haven't got to go over that again. It's lovely and sunny. This will be coming off in a minute, and we've got a couple of hours yet. So who knows? We may yet finish on a Farm Lake 20 pounder. Well, it's almost time to call it quits on Albans Lakes. So I'm going to break down as best as I can for you guys how I've approached the trip. Okay, the peg, first of all, I had fished this peg before, so I had some insight into it. So I knew there's a gravel lump out there. So using the float initially, I just had to sort of remind myself how many wraps that is. I knew it was at the 2 tall trees, so if you get in the pig pen, 2 tall trees, 20 wraps, okay? The side bank, ironically enough, is roughly about the same, but I didn't wrap that rod anyway. I was just a few rod lengths off the bank, bang. So now moving on, baiting up. I brought with me 10mm paella and 14mm paella and some paella pellet. Having fished the water again before, it is a fish mealy type venue and pellet. During the trip, when I went around the other side there, first of all, I put 1 kilo of 10mm paella, and out on the spom area it was 10mm and 14mm. I've done about, in total of this trip, I've used about 5 kilos of boilie. Might seem excessive, but I have had 6 bites. On the sidewall, initially I put out just 10mm, and I spommed, like I'm saying, pellet for no actual reason. Pellet, 10mm and 14mm on the gravel lump. Okay, so we split the areas. I used probably 2 key of the 14mm mixed in with a kilo of 10s and a kilo of pellet out there. So there's 4 kilos. Done a kilo there. After I'd had a bite there, I put another kilo. So I've done probably 6 key of bait in all total with the pellet, okay, on this trip. That's where we are there. I'll talk to you about this wind as well. I know we talked about it yesterday. We didn't actually talk, you listened hopefully. It was so strong yesterday. It was, now I can cast a fair old distance and I'm usually very accurate, okay? Big-headed or what. That wind yesterday, it was coming all over the place here and it was really, really gale-force winds. So cutting a spom through that, or what was I using, the X-spod, whatever you call it, through that wind was becoming difficult, even at 20 wraps, okay? But what was aiding my casting, and it is a product we do clearly, obviously, it's the arrow lead. I'm using 5 ounces, I've got shock leaders on, 5 ounces, and these are like a dart flight on them, okay? Whether or not that makes a difference, let me tell you, the lead made a difference. The weight, the 5 ounce managed to carry the rig as straight as I could get it. I had a rod on each of them trees, and the arrow lead, being the 5 ounce, certainly helped me massively, honestly, in that situation. It's not a product push, I'm just telling you the honest truth. This is what I was using on the lead clips, okay? Now down to rigs. We'll cover the hook baits first. Now yes, I put out paella, which is your ready coloured fish meal, if you can see that through the bag, okay? But what I wanted over that, these fish are, they're on the munch. There's a lot of smaller fish in here, like low doubles to mid doubles, like pack fish. But what I don't want to do is wait too long for a bite. Put that back there. So I chose fluoros. Now, I've had even bites on the yellow and the pink, funny enough. But these, ice cream, as you can see there, over the top of the area is almost like kids in a sweet shop. Yeah. I'm guessing they'll see it, zone in on that, and give me an earlier bite, which I think is what happened anyway, because I had 3 bites. All 3 rods went, if you remember, within about a 20-minute period, maybe a half-hour period yesterday. Left first, as we was getting netted to fish, the right-hand one went off the side wall, which is incidentally about 70 yards apart, maybe a little bit more. And then as we was returning the 2 fish that I'd caught, the middle one went off the gravel lump again. So I'm sure they come in, I mean, so I do, a lot of us do this. It's that time of year, another month or so, I might have had them actually out there being a paella, 15mm pop-up. But for this trip, you can see what I've used, and it worked, okay? They just smell lovely and all. And why would I use a sweet one over paella and not a paella fluoro one? The honest reason is I haven't got a tub of paella fluoro ones with me. They're at home in the shed. This is what I had in my rucker. So that's an honest, again, opinion. Now rigs, let's talk about these bits first. I'm using fluoro at the moment because I was punching leads good and hard through the wind that we've just spoken about. And it's about the least tangled you're ever going to get is with a fluoro stroke heavy mono hook link, okay? I would mix that up a little bit if it wasn't windy. I'd probably use one on a coated hook link just to mix it up. There's no explanation there as to why, what, when or when. I'm random with my angling. I like using the blender coated in the 18 pound and the 25. If it wasn't so windy, I'm sure one of them would have been out there. I've also got in the box, now bear in mind the hooks, 95 to 98% of my fishing is done with lock size 4. Okay, I even use that on the Zig Zombies, you know, and I've shown you that in films, and people will see it on the bank if they snatch me rig off me just to have a look at it. So that's that. The ammo, braided hook link, a 25, mainly if I'm flicking it down the margins with a bag on it, or I'm fishing PVA bags anyway. This is my whole scenario with different rigs in different situations, okay? But for this trip, it was quite short, quite short, 20-pound blend, okay, fluorocarbon hook link. Now I'll explain why it's quite short as well. There's the short version, what we're looking at, about 5.5, 6 inches maybe. Casting on these areas, as I've already stated several times, boringly, I'm fishing on gravel. The margin over there is gravel, the lump out there is gravel. So this is landing good and hard. So that it doesn't need a soft hook link or a longer hook link. And I'll explain the longer hook link, right? See, last week, again, I wasn't in this country. I was lucky enough to go to Zumba, and I was using these for about 1 foot long. And the reason being is the lake bed was quite soft. Again, I was using the boat and punching them out as well. The lake bed was quite soft. I know that because a friend of mine in the next swim had an RT7, and he's got the camera that drops down to the lake bed, and he was dropping it down over the area that I was going to fish, and there was like, I don't know, maybe that much, like the lake bed was almost moving. You know, when the leaf mould comes up in the spring, the lake bed becomes alive, bits are coming up and floating, and it's generally moving about. So I used a longer hook link to great effect, because if the lead sunk into that, let's say that much sunk into it, that's still going to settle. Okay, if I used a really short hook link, that might not, it might actually sit up a little bit. I'm just saying, because bear in mind, that will be coming out of the silt, this part of it. So it might not sit correctly, but the longer hook link, I also believe it helps with, I mean, they're giant fish out there. I do believe the longer hook link helps with the giant fish. We're talking 50 to 60, I mean, mate, had a 75 out there. So the longer hook link, I think, also helped in that situation. When a big fish picks it up, it takes longer to right itself. In my mind, I know what I'm talking about. I'm finding that very difficult to explain to you guys, but I know what I was doing out there, and it worked for me on numerous bites. Okay, so this is the trip I've been on. Really enjoyed it. I hope you can take something from that I've tried my best to explain my weird ways of thinking, but it works for me. Everything I've done, clearly, we've done 24 hours, we've had 6 takes. That isn't so bad. The size of the fish, usually, I've been here a couple of times, I've had fish out of this lake to 36 pounds, 29 pounds, 27 pounds, blah, blah, blah. We've hit a load of doubles. I'm quite happy with that. It's been a nice relaxing trip after that mammoth journey I've been on. And at the end of the day, I've had 5 nice carp, used a bit of bait, enjoyed me fishing with Omar and the camera. And it's now time for me to stop waffling, to go home, again, to meet up with my wife Debbie, who I haven't seen a great deal in the last fortnight, and my 3 dogs, Spud, Charlie and Jack. So without further ado, thank you, Lance. You always look after us at Albans Lakes, whether it's on Willow or on farm, you always look after us. The guys in the tackle shop, coffee yesterday, we had coffee. Thanks again, can't thank you enough. Without the venues like you provide for us, we wouldn't be doing any of this. So cheers, we'll see you again in the future. And now it's time to get them rods in, get them in the van, get back on the M25. Thank you.